Alright, let's get started. We looked at the cards overall. Let's be a bit more detailed. Let's see what we can do. So, Law will be an aggro deck, red. I took the deck list, just kind of a standard copy paste, and I had a friend do like minor fixes based on what might be inaccurate. So, uh, one cost bodies he can throw out and turn into something big. Luffy is the searcher. Hmm. Classic. I guess the Makino is actually playable here sometimes, turned into really big swings. Since the one cost already gets big and then gets even bigger to get rid of something like Burgess. Mm, okay. Yeah, also just free. He has a lot of these one costs that are annoying and yeah. Yeah, this is annoying because if he just has something big, I always have to keep in mind that he could for 2 Dawn, like, yeah, just basically restand it and swing again for the same amount. Once per turn, right? Still. Does it have to be characters? Yeah. Down 2, he gets blocker. That's not that scary. 2000 counter, I suppose. Do run the Sanji. Stride crew. 6000 power or more. Annoying, although so far I haven't seen a lot of it. I guess he can always, yeah, this works. Thing up here. This high cost Zoro. Oh, with Rush, huh? So it's like unpredictable. You play this for 7. You play the Zoro for 7, and then you throw out the Sanji, and then you maybe attach 1 down. And become unblockable, but then unblockable is on play, so we can avoid, like, kind of not have to worry about it as much. Yeah, this guy is going to be annoying. Getting rid of dog feet, the blockers. This just gets played on 3 Dawn, and we just. He even draws a card. Is it until the end of their turn? It's during this turn, so after these low bodies swing, they will generally die to our leader swing, right? But this still means he got a draw 1 and KO'd one of our low base characters. But we can't just not play them early on. Stuff like the Doc, like if he plays a 1 cost and we play Doc Q, then we've already committed to playing the Doc Q, and he answers with a Rouge, and well, I suppose if we could play Augur, we could get rid of it. So I suppose if we're on the odd curve and he plays this on 4, then on 5 we could play Augur and kill it before it can ever kill the dog himself. The kid, yeah, gets just the little flooding to set up. I guess it's a blocker, so that's annoying, but okay, there we go. Yeah, I guess already at 5 they have 7000 attack cards, so that they have that they quickly have, stuff to swap into. On 4 you don't have to worry, but on 5 already are the big swings. That's kind of like a hope, like they have all these low cost cards that you can swap into, but if he doesn't have a high cost thingy, then he has nothing to do with it. But for 5 he already gets the 7000, so this card's a problem. And of course it's not on play based. Alright. This is the removal protection. Hmm. He's out of range of black hole. Hmm. If he's played on 5, there's no way we can have cost reduction ready. The only thing we could do is like play stronger with black hole in response. Like the minus 2000 to a leader is of course like theoretically insane, but you're an aggro deck, so you don't care if you're low, you're just playing for the board early. So if you have 4 life, like who cares that you go down to 3000? Your opponent is not really worried about it. And then a little minus 2000. So yeah, this card's gonna be a problem. It's hard to swing into with that 7000. He'll generally counter out of those. We haven't seen any card draw, right? Mm, yeah, we haven't. Oh no, we this guy, but still not much. It's mostly an aggro deck. I guess there's some of these low cost ones replace themselves. Yeah, it's gonna be a pain. It's always a pain. Like this is like basically Hody against us, right? Except slightly better. Uh, yeah, this hurts. The Zoro's gonna be a pain. The high cost stuff. And then this Law, also Rush. Mm. How good of a defense is this? No, later on, he's going for attacks. Sad thing is he can just have like a 1 cost on the field, and then next turn play the Law, and suddenly he has two 10k swings, right? And then defensively, oh, it's only one of your characters. Okay. So, yeah, it still just lets him counter out of himself basically every time. So once a turn he basically gets a free 10,000 leader. He does have to trash 2 cards, so I suppose it's not free. It's not free at all actually. It's like you turn 2 cards into a 2k and get a free 1k on top. Not like terrifyingly scary, but nice for consistency for him. And it's another high cost rusher. Now, with these big rushers, it seems that by setup we'll be in a lot more comfortable position if we KO these. No. Okay. So after a bit of analysis, let's go to the broader side. First, game plan wise, he looks to be going for a pretty standard aggro early on. A little bit of board, annoy some of our stuff, and then start swinging with 5Ks once he has the little ones, right? Just for 4 he can get it. He pretty quickly, the 4 is just 1 turn, he pretty quickly goes to 7k swings, like really quickly. On 5 done comes the first 7k swing. Same with 6. Then if he plays like something like this on curve, then on 7 dawn he plays like 5k, 8k, 8k. Big swings quite quickly. So we'll probably want to counter out of the first 1 or 2 like 5k swings. Stay healthy because the bigger ones are going to come anyways. These are big enough, especially if they attach dawn afterwards, if he attaches dawn, to kill our Burgesses when we swing with them. So we'll want to make sure we have something. Yeah, so oh wait, I didn't even see this, wait. Okay, it's just a searcher. So I wanna see what answers we have. So to the horde of 1 costs he has, the dock will be nice. Since they are also just set up and don't get to swing right away. The Hawkins gets a free summon, so we should be ready to turn off on blaze before that in case he finds the Luffy. I suppose it can also get him the Bartolomeo, who won't have blocker right away, so I guess that's fine. You can also get the Rouge, actually. That'll be really annoying. Okay, so killing this will be a pain. Mm, the kid just kind of has ramp. He's a blocker, but we could kill him with the engine, we could kill him with Black Hole, and we can also just run over him. Not really much of a problem. The Drake looks like a huge pain in the ass. It's probably, alongside the Rushers, the most problematic card. It enables everything else, and by itself, it just also, it gives protection, enables everything to be a 7k swing, has a vanilla stat line, and gives minus 2000 power for a turn, which makes something like the Burgesses extremely easy to kill, since he has multiple swings. Would be really nice to find a way to kill it, but it's out of black hole range. It's not out of liberation range, now that it just pops into my head of wondering what to KO it with. Maybe if he builds a wide board, liberation is a potential thing to do. The engine also doesn't quite hit it. Only with the teach do you actually get there. So if we're on an odd curve, then on 5 we could set up auger, and on 7 we play teach and kill this. He gets one like free 7k swing off by attacking with a low cost thing, but should be fine. And he doesn't have any way to get rid of the auger ahead of time. So that's one way to answer that. If we can't answer it with effects, oh right, yeah, he has protection against that once per turn, so that actually does nothing. I'm stupid. So yeah, like the minus 2000 on that 7 down turn does absolutely nothing. I just swing phase and he takes it like he would anyways. That hurts. So black hole would be the way to go with like stronger. But also if he plays it on curve, yeah, at any point we can play this with strong black hole. If we've played auger and he plays this, then on 6, on 7 we could answer with black hole, but then with the 3 we don't really have anything else to do. We really want to kill this. If we have to kill this with swinging, it's doable, and I guess he plays some cards. So he won't, like, he has nothing that would generate him a whole bunch of cards to be able to counter with. But he has some blockers. Bartolomeo is more of a 2k. And he has the kid here. But if he's going first, then he won't play that. And then the rushers. Vortex helps if he doesn't swing with it right away, but he does swing with it right away, right? Because he wants to swing and then use leader ability. So he's always going to swing with that character first. I suppose the fact that it's an 8k stat line means Vortex does completely negate one of those swings, which is nice. Actually, now that I think about it, Vortex negates the leader ability, huh? So I can get rid of the law swing and prevent the swap. Okay, so Vortex is actually big here. Gonna have to note that down. Vortex negating the leader ability is a really good answer to this, to a lot of that aggro. Basically, like for 2 Dawn, I prevent 2 swings, the leader one and the other big one that would actually come with it. That is very nice. Yeah, that's that. The law, we can, like, after it does its swing, I think we can just play 10 cost. He doesn't get his little defense in case it's needed. He can't attack, and we have a blocker set up. He can still steal the attack for it next turn, but we're still denying a big swing. No. I suppose this would have been good to do first, but when do we use on plays? A leader ability, nothing, nothing, nothing. He has, he has a standard 1 cost searcher. He has the Sanji, but that's like later. He has the kid getting a free 1 cost. This has nothing, this has nothing, this has nothing. This has nothing. He only has one. He has only two on plays. The Kid and the Luffy as searcher. This one gives him tempo. This one gives him, the normal searcher stuff. I would, as a result, lean towards not using the on-play negation at all until we're trying to stop the Sanji. We would have to accept the tempo he gets from playing the Kid. If we don't do that, yeah, we would have to start negating at 4. I suppose it's specifically 4 he doesn't have anything, but starting at 5 he just has things he wants to play on curve that aren't the Kid. So I think we'll probably be using leader ability not at all until we're trying to deny Sanji. Keeps us cards, which is nice for countering out of some of those swings. Turn order, we probably want to go first, considering his curve has this Rouge and the Drake and Zoro and Law. Yeah, it's not even close. We always want to go first here. Leader ability, never. Now, answer, troll the 1 cost, Dock is nice. So Keonjin gets the plus there. Also able to get rid of a Rouge and this blocker. Also of this Kid once it's on the board, nice to get rid of the blocker. The 7 cost Teach cannot kill this Drake because of the immunity. Later on, maybe if you're like threatening to go for game or do something close, but to do that we already need to be resting 2 cards. So might as well use like that 7 cost swing Teach for an 8k swing phase. He doesn't have a lot of blockers, so this may just be killable and like a more Burgessy setup by just swinging into it high. But at 5 Dawn, it's early. Might have to attach some Dawn ourselves, and he'll counter out of almost anything we throw at this. Like a 9k swing, he will drop 2 cards, and he'll still have enough at that point. Especially since he has 5 life, and we're gonna be doing some damage. We need to be doing some damage. He'll have enough cards. The Zoro is out of range of the bigger KO combo, as is the Law. So the extra blockers help of the B&B variety against a lot of these swings. Setting up the Burgesses lets us swing into the big things and remove them. I think it'll be difficult to kill these two with the engine. And they have rush anyways, so the blockers are a better answer. The Dock Q is really good against these early things. Yeah, because if he doesn't have only the Cavendish has rush, right? So he will play the big things with rush and then gift it to the 1 costs basically, most of the time. So if we can just kill the 1 costs with a Dock, he doesn't have the extra swing. Only Cavendish can make it possible. But that's 2 extra done. The forecast Shiryu, the blocker is also gonna be amazing here. He can kill the whatever like lower thing the guy has ready to swap with. So for the conclusions for deck lists is Dock will be really good here. The rest of the engine doesn't hit that much though. Like the 7 cost Teach combo against Drake doesn't work, and Zoro and Law are out of range of it. Even though Augur Dock could be nice here. And then Vortex seems really good against the leader ability, as would Shiryu be, so those are worth noting. The Burgesses can swing into the bigger bodies to get rid of them, but he will have some defense, but not necessarily a lot. He will definitely defend against 1 or 2 swings. A lot of blockers are the way to go here, since he has big swings, but not that many swings. He has like 2 big swings per turn, right? That's kind of how this goes. So a lot of blockers will help Which will be better, blockers or engine? They both have their strengths. Maybe something of a mix where I can have the dock Q to get rid of these, but still have the blockers and Burgess to actually kill things. Now, let's continue on for now. After red, I think green is the next color. Mihawk. Free Dawn. They play, it's more of a 2K. Classic searchers to get all the stuff he wants. We've seen the Zoro. Mm, yeah, he can always rest these searchers and just the low cost cards without a problem. He can trash the Kid Killer, set something active again. What does he do with the 3 events? Well, he can't play character cards, so he has to play events and attach Dawn. The events he plays, okay, that's counter. So he's, yeah, just good defense ones, huh? Is 3 enough for Deadman's Game? No, but 1 extra and then he has Deadman's Game. Oh god, I hate that card. Most decks I've seen run before didn't play this many, but I guess if you have the Dawn, like you have nothing else to do with the 3 Dawn, running 3, this makes sense. I can play the stage. Looks like just generally, whenever he has like basically any turn, unless for some reason he needs to use exactly the amount of Dawn to play something, he has none left at all, he can always just, and doesn't have anything he wants to rest, he will always have 3 Dawn active at the end of every turn. So we'll always have Dawn to activate the counter events. Annoying. What about the actual gameplay? What does he go for here? Bonnie stun. Tashigi, alright. Has removal immunity and high power. So mostly just like a swing kind of body. Difficult to get rid of with the 8000. But she does need to rest 2 cards. If he has the low cost stuff, then if he doesn't have that, then he needs to use 2 Dawn to do it, which probably doesn't feel as great. Oh, right, never mind. It's just during. He can always just use the 3 that he used. On play, yeah, it is the freezing one, the Perona, insane card. On KO, you can rest something. Yeah, just a free Dawn. These are all basically free. And then play a green character. That's only during my turn though. Okay, people play this law. That makes sense. We can bounce one of like the rest of things. You know, like, but that actually doesn't work. Because that would be a character. So he needs to play the character first. The law. Bounces a searcher or something. And plays a 5 cost rested. Kind of awkward for him because he doesn't want to rest the law as a blocker and the other thing already comes in rested. But that's fine, he can just rest one of his Dawn. Shanks. When he's rested, there's like no way to dodge this. Or rest something with base power, so this will always get rid of a blocker. And yeah, so this card is really cancer against us. Can get rid of a blocker, like there's no way we can dodge this. Yeah. Tenkar's Teach will do pretty well against it, but he needs to be rested, but they would play this, right? Rested, but it's 9000. and basically 10,000 since all of our characters are minus 1,000. We need to attach a lot to a Burgess or something to swing, and he could probably defend it. We haven't seen blockers yet. No, we have seen blockers. The Zoro here. He wasn't played much though in like the green Zoro deck, so I'm guessing he won't be played that much. The 4,000 attack isn't very impressive. Probably just as a 2k, right? So it's just a law, but he needs to be low for that. So he may not have the blockers, but he can counter out of those things easily unless we have a big Burgess. KOing him with effects would be nice. I suppose could do something like Augur Black Hole. Thing is, like Augur Teach doesn't hit it, which hurts. Laboon Teach hits it. Augur Dock hits it. Good amount of 7 costs. Laboon Dock killed the Toshigi as well. But I suppose that doesn't really work anyways. Black Hole's better for that. Okay, the Mihawk. Also, when he's arrested, yeah, again, stunning a blocker or a Burgess, and there's no way to get around it. And then during our attack, gets a free 2k. I don't think that's worth stunning. I guess it's worth stunning with a 10 cost, just for the, like, it's not a once per turn thing, right? God, that's disgusting. Every turn, he can perma stun something. Whether it's Burgess or like a 6 cost Kuzan that I will just never be able to block or proc. A Doflamingo makes sense. This Law and Beppo. Cool card. I actually really like this card. Yeah. It's a really strong card, but it's on play, so we don't care. This is on play. This is these two are on play. Scary 10 costs. Law has the bounce. The Shanks and Mihawks don't have anything actually. These are generally counter events in Deadman's Game. High ones. The stage is a pain. Yeah, it just means he always has Dawn with his leader ability. He doesn't have like events that he wants to activate, but I guess he wants to swing with the extra Dawn a lot of the time. On plays, he has the the Perona actually is really scary. The Law is really scary. And then the 10 cost is really scary. There's like this gap in between, but I think we'll probably have to start at 5. Yeah, with leader ability, we'll probably have to start at 5. First or second, probably first, because of the, yeah, Toshigi, like the curve is just much nicer for him going first. 5, 7, 9. Now, KO engine or Burgess. So, actual targets. It's nice for us to, like, denying his leader ability isn't that valuable. Because worst case, he can always arrest one of his own Dawn, right? Even if he plays the 9 cost, he'll have one rest to left. One left to rest. So preventing that using like Docu or something to get rid of the 1 cost is not that useful. And since he has to rest them, we can probably clear them the following turn anyways. He'll probably just be resting it on and getting 2 free Dawn. Main problems we'll be having after we turn off on plays is this Tashigi, I think, will be the main problem. The 7 cost Shanks and the Mihawk. Killing the Tashigi by effects is impossible. The only way around it is Black Hole. So stronger Black Hole, Augur Black Hole, something like that would work. The Shanks, I mean, swinging into it is 8,000, and then he has events to encourage to defend it. So killing this by swinging into it, even with something high attack like a Burgess, is unlikely. Only once you have like really big bodies, like 10 cost Teach, and like really like 11k Burgess things that you're swinging into it. Which means that most of the time we're gonna have to ignore this. To be fair, it has nothing, that would make ignoring it insane. It's, well, an 8,000 body, so it doesn't have effects, but Black Hole is probably the preferred answer to this whenever we can. We're going first and we get to set up Augur or something, and then KO it with that. He would play something bigger, like Shanks, and swing into it with the extra Dawn. We would need to protect it or have blockers up, but having blockers up is difficult because, well, I guess, no. The resting is mostly from Shanks here. And the Mihawk, so the higher cost things. How we deal with the Shanks, 7 cost, it's difficult to KO just because of um, the cost. Augur Black Hole also works on this. A lot of combinations, but relatively high combinations. Nothing smooth works. The Augur Teach doesn't work. He would play it on 7, so we would have had the time to play, well, for example, Teach and Stronger, Teach and Tempest Kick if we go all that way. We need to kill this thing as soon as it drops. It's probably our biggest problem. The Mihawk is also annoying, I suppose, since it's like a perma-stun 10k body, but this is cheaper. 7,000 base power, rests all the same things that the Mihawk does. And then if it's rested, all of us get the minus 1,000. So not only is it like a big body with big swings, it also removes blockers, and it also gives the minus 1,000 aura. This thing needs to die as soon as possible when it drops, which we cannot do with Burgess. We just don't have enough like attack power. If it's rested, we could try to swing into it like with like, or just spend our turn on it, right? Like have like a 7,000, 8,000 Burgess, attach 8 Dawn, swing 16,000 into it. May work, but we saw here uh, with relatively little, he can actually match that. Just 2 of these work. 2 Dawn, he gets 8,000, and he's already out of the range. So the only way we'll really kill this is with the engine. Can we just ignore it to try to go for game? Also difficult. The Mihawk, I think 10 cost is just the answer here. Prevents the free 2k, prevents the big attack, prevents the rest. And there's also nothing like, I suppose there's the 7 cost Shanks that we'd also like to rest, to stun. But this one's like the bigger version of it. This Shanks is the main problem, I think. This is like a 9 cost, it's strong, but we can stun it with the 10 cost, and this will screw us over. But neither can really smoothly deal with it. The engine a bit more so than the Burgess. He doesn't stun, he rests, which means that we do during our turn have our attacks. But he can get rid of our blockers. At least a little bit, depending what's on the board. We basically, the stunning type we can negate with the on plays. And then the resting, which he does with his high end, will basically negate 1 blocker per turn. Unless he starts setting up a board, in which case multiple. The 10 cost Teach is not restable. So that may be a good plan of defense. build towards the 10 cost teaches. Early on, we can use our blockers, and we do use them because once the Shanks drops, they lose a lot of value. We use them early, protect our life. Then, once he starts dropping the high costs, we just try to go life, but the Shanks minus 1000 is a pain. And then the 9 cost Mihawk, we just stun and then go for game somewhat quickly afterwards. KO engine would be, oh, I just took that out. We're gonna ignore that. Yeah, he has a lot of counter events, so he's gonna be difficult to actually kill if we try to commit, and swinging into his board to kill it is difficult. So for this one, I'm leaning towards removal if we're trying to defend but dealing with the board. I guess the alternative is that we say, screw it. We just build bridges and go for game. But because he has 5 lives and a lot of events, if we try to commit too hard to killing him, he'll just deadman's game, rest an additional blocker or something with Mihawk or Shanks, and finish us. Leaning towards KO here, but it looks relatively scary. Okay, so I think it's doable depending on how it goes. I'll have to see with testing how well the whole thing about just go for game goes and how consistently he hits us with this. So in this list, there's 3 Shanks, 3 Mihawks. I do feel that if he doesn't hit the Shanks on curve, and we're left having to deal with a bunch of like 6,000 attack bodies um, that don't really have much going on except just being Tashigi being difficult to kill, then the Burgesses through the events kill these pretty quickly, leaving just the Shanks once he gets dropped. And sure, he can get out of individual things, even just with just one Dawn. But there's also only so many cards there that he has. He doesn't have card draw, so he might just run out of cards. The coffin boat here is a little bit, but I'll have to test both varieties. How quickly can we remove this board? If he doesn't hit Shanks, we just win. How quickly can we remove stuff with the engine? These are all 5 costs, which means we can't hit them with Augur Dock, which really is quite annoying. Yeah, we'll have to see. Let's continue on with the next one. I think black is up. Crocodile, or no, blue, right? Jimbe. Yeah, this was a very unimpressive. Trashing a card for 2 rested Dawn is just bad. Like it's something you wouldn't even add to a leader if you could do it for free. Like why would I do this? So not strong in that sense. Searcher is fine. He does have multiple in the sense of like 1 cost on play, get a card so that he can establish a board and also keep hand size. I think normally you can ignore this Hachan, so he's not really a problem. If he wants to trash a card to make it into a 5k swing, I will survive. Easy killable with Dock Q though, just like the rest of these. They're all 3000 attacks, so that he's in range to buff them up, but last turn, but there was nothing of like attacking multiple times, so it's just yeah, it's just a 2k. He gets rush. I can't negate it. He does get on KO draw card, but it still ends up being like a 3 done 3000 attack, right? With the leader effect, it's 3 done 5000 rush. That's not that scary, I gotta admit. This is mostly a 2k. Pudding is pudding. Aladdin. I guess just to flood a bit more, right? Cost of 3 or less, get 2 bodies out. He has a lot of his refill on death, right? On KO, draw a card. Shirahoshi, blocker, self-replacement, and 3 cost. She can play the Aladdin, but yeah, the rest, just a 2k. Draw 3 cards. This, basically he gets rush, so 8 cost 10,000 rush is actually quite annoying for us. He can also draw 2 and return 1. Strong on play. Looks like they're on Red Rock, which will be annoying, and Femur, which is also really annoying. Leader or character? Okay, so that's basically it's Jinbe and leader, right? Yeah. So since he's 8, the on play is optional. So on 8, he uses he plays Jinbe, gets rush, puts it to 12,000, uses leader ability, gets it to 14,000. So he can do a 14,000 unblockable face, right? So similar to Rayleigh, if you go down to 0 life, you're just dead. Vortex isn't enough to save it. It's too late for that. So we'll have to keep that in mind to not go down to 0 life, but the rest of the deck, like, it's I guess it's kind of made to be aggressive with these low cost cards, but he loses cards from trash. Suppose he's trying to refill, but we can deny a good amount of it by turning off on plays, which I think is what we're going to go for here. When do we turn off on plays? I think right away. He needs the bodies for the early aggression, right? So we deny his searching and Kichu here, especially if we deny that amount of draw, there's a good chance he won't have Jinbe and Femur to do his combo. And then we also prevent pudding, but on 4 we get to dodge the tempo that Aladdin gives, and we get to dodge the free draw that Shirahoshi gives, as well as here with Fisher Tiger and Jinbe. These are kind of how he gets like cards, right? Starting at 4 with the Shirahoshi. Arguably, starting at 6 is like when it's relevant, because the Shirahoshi does play a card, so it's basically a blocker. Like a free blocker that kind of spawns itself. Since the other card goes down and replaces itself, so Shirahoshi just kind of exists. But it's not like insane. It's fine for us. 4 down for a blocker, like mild inconvenience. And the things we're trying to attack here are relatively low anyways. So, you know, we're not like, they're not stopping a big swing, I suppose, until later. So it's actually a good chance that we only start using leader abilities starting at 6 to prevent his bigger draw. We keep our cards early. It does mean he gets to play Chu and Erlong if we want to go down that route. Gotta avoid pudding as well. But maybe this is enough to prevent him from really gaining, keeping too much if he wants to use his leader ability. He has 5 life, so we're not able to rush him down easily, and as we get him lower, he'll get cards back, which is annoying. Overall, though, this looks really fine. Really doable. He doesn't have as much aggression that we would be scared of. He loses cards pretty quickly. We can turn off his strongest abilities consistently. And we mostly just have to be careful of the unblockable 14k swing. Now, answering stuff with the. He has the bodies and he wants to buff them up for many small attacks. And the three of these one cost and they're made to do that, right? So Doc Q getting rid of them is nice. The Koala isn't really played. He has these two as bodies. He has these two as well. Um, with Aladdin, for example, he can play two of those at once. And then he has the 5,000 swings. So these would be nice to remove with Augur and Doc. They don't have rush. This guy's rush, but the rest can be KO'd before they get the chance to attack. The Fisher Tiger is annoying, but killable with the Augur Teach. These are all beat overable and killable with just Burgess. Like, these get rested. They usually just die to 5k swings though. He can't really afford to defend them. Even something like the 5k bodies, the only thing that would be worth defending is something like the Fisher Tiger, but even that, by the time he's playing that, the Burgesses are big enough. And then the Jimbe. Which way do we lean? He has no way to get rid of Burgess. Just Red Rock for the 10 cost teach. He has a lot of targets we can conveniently KO. None of them are like that strong, but just we're able to control his board. And have him use his swings on stuff like the Dock. And he doesn't really have great ways to get out of it. Like once something like an Augur is on the field, he has nothing to kill it with. The only thing he can do is like attach a bunch of Dawn to his leader, for example. And try to kill it. But he doesn't have effects to get rid of blockers or anything. So KO seems slightly better here. But to be honest, this is not that scary overall. The 4-cost blocker Shiryu also looks amazing here. Getting rid of these 3 and 4 costs, whether it's just a blocker or additional bodies, slows him down further. And he needs to actually play something so that he has rested Dawn to attach. So he doesn't want to like swing first and then play. So since he plays first and then swings, we can block and kill something. This looks really free. Leader build is starting at probably 6, and if we want to just be greedy, we just do it earlier. Gotta make sure to avoid putting. And with the KO engine, just keep wiping this stuff. With Burgess too. The only thing really is this Jinbe. So if we don't take too much damage early, this Jinbe also isn't that much of a problem. We stun it with the 10 cost. He doesn't have blockers except for the Shirahoshi, which we can negate. He doesn't have a lot of cards in hand to defend it, so one 12k swing from a teach with some Burgess is available and this thing is gone. I think we're good here.